JJ the CPA here. Hope you're doing well. So, what am I talking about to my clients this month? Of course, I'm talking to them about PPP, first draw, second draw, the EIDL, the grant, the replenishment of the EIDL grant, and also the employee retention tax credit, the retroactive tax credit, as well as the sick leave credits, the paid leave credits. But what else am I talking to my clients about? Well, purpose of this video is that I want to tell you about this group I'm putting together. And by you listening, you're going to actually get what it is that I'm talking to my clients about this month. So there will be some value to you in this video, regardless of your interest in this group I'm putting together. But I do want to tell you this, there are 12 spots left and then I'm closing it for the rest of the year. What is it? Well, it's a monthly seminar, monthly strategy seminar of what I'm sharing with my clients each month that I'm not sharing on YouTube. So when I originally put this seminar series together, I was putting it out there as a monthly seminar. It'd be $97 a month. Well, instead of marketing this every single month and also wanting to limit the group, why? Well, I want to limit the group because it's going to involve some Q&A at the end of each seminar, and so need to limit it. So I've got it limited to 50, and I'm calling it Group 51. And the reason that is that it'll be 50 members with JJ the CPA. And I am going to get to the list. So give me another minute. I'm going to get to this list to tell you what I'm getting ready to talk about, not only in this upcoming seminar, but what I'm talking about my clients right now that I don't put on YouTube. And the other thing to note is, so it's all 12 seminars. So I've got one, the first coming up here, January 20th. It'll be the third Wednesday of each month, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you can't make the appointment or seminar, you get a copy of the link to the video and the materials. The other aspect is that you will be able to get some impromptu interaction with me throughout the year. I've already called some of those that were jumping on the opportunity that came to the first strategy seminar. And I've just put this out there a couple of days ago. So what am I talking about with my clients each month? Well, with the client group that I have, the client list that I have that I'm actually doing CPA services for, most of them have been clients for 15, some 20, some since the beginning of my practice, so some up to 23 years. I haven't been taking on new clients since 2018. So here's what I'm talking about with my clients this month, and then this is an outline of what this seminar will be on Wednesday for Group 51. Note this, it's not a gimmick, but once I hit 50, it'll just be closed for the year. So you'll get the value of this seminar. If you don't see a link in the body of this seminar to the opportunity to sign up for the Group 51, then it got full and it was closed. So with that being said, right now, the big thing besides everything that I just told you about, because I have videos about that, the big thing that I'm talking to my clients about is some of the aspects with the tax law related to partnerships in updating the operating agreement to ensure that what is addressed is what happens in a LLC environment where you have partners that they are limited in liability, but they have signed off on loans, notes, and they're getting at-risk basis to be able to take these losses. Well, the IRS has been prevailing in recent times in indicating that partners are not actually at risk to then take losses to the extent of their at-risk basis unless the operating agreement addresses what happens if one of the partners gets on the hook for those dollars. The other aspect is looking at the debt allocation. The IRS is looking at that. So in the seminar, I'm going to go through that in detail, give recommendation of what needs to be put into the operating agreement. I'm going to touch on for clients that have been Schedule C. Now it's time to become an S Corp. Need to get that done before March 15th of this year. Time to look at doing annual minutes for those that have an Inc. or a PC. Going to have a checklist of tax documents to be gathering up for my clients. So I'm sharing the same tax checklist and questionnaire with this group. Also, you need to get Form W-9s, updated ones, for any vendors that you've paid over $600 or those that you're expecting to do that this year, because there are now 1099 miscellaneous that have to be sent out. But check it out. There is a brand new Form 1099 NEC, non-employee compensation. And that needs to get out. It's due by January 31st. There's a catch to this, though, and it's probably you would win the lottery before the IRS came and zinged you with this penalty. But actually, the way that you could get zinged with this $5,000 penalty is if you sent that 1099 NEC and that person challenged it and that person won and you sent it incorrectly. There's a $5,000 penalty to that. There's a brand new form. So I'm going to talk about that and the details and give links to it. Also on Friday, the U.S. Department of Labor finalized a rule in determining those factors. And basically, this is a new hot issue, not only with the IRS, but with the U.S. Department of Labor, talking about this rule. And this rule goes in effect March 8th. So I'll be talking about that in the seminar. You can talk with your CPA or your attorney about this if you're not going to be a part of the group. Also, a number of issues I'm going to go through related to remote employees. Believe it or not, you need to, as an employer, be mindful of covering them while they're working, even though they're in their own home, with insurance or work comp or a couple other factors to take into account related to safety of information. Also coming up in the next 30 days for most small business owners, whether you're incorporated or not, is business personal property tax. I'm going to talk about what you should do before you file that report with the county. Also, every year, QuickBooks comes out with an updated or a new version. I'm going to talk about whether or not we should be doing that. These are all the things that I'm talking to my clients about now in January. Also talking about telling my clients and this group, what to gather up at year end for your business. One of those things is to make sure that your accountant, CPA, EA, tax professional knows the year end balances to all of your loans that are in the business to ensure that you're getting to write off all of your interest expense. One of the things that I'm doing with clients too in January and into February is I'm looking at their financials with them for the prior year and comparing it to the year before that and kind of talking about what's coming up. So I'm going to go through an actual set of clients' financials. Of course, they'll be masked. No one will know who that client is, but be going through actual financials and showing this group what they can be doing with their financials or their clients' financials and maybe what I'm looking at. Also, what's coming up, I'm in the insurance business. I have my license as well as being a CPA and having a CPA tax practice. I also have an insurance practice really just on life and DI to help protect my clients. But I'm going to be talking about some changes that I'm predicting as it relates to this industry of life insurance and disability income insurance. And ratings are going to change because of the, COVID. And so what does that mean? What should be done now? I'm actually going to walk through a very simple calculation with Group 51 on how do you know even how much of this that you need. It's very simple to figure that out, but not only how much insurance do you need, so then how much do you have? And guess what? Can't sell insurance to any of you, and can't sell insurance to anybody in Group 51. So it'll be zero sale going on related to that, because I cannot and will not sell any life insurance to anybody. You're watching it in Group 51, not going to be able to do it. Also going to be talking through, I created something over probably 25 years of experience, because I came up with this about, well, shoot, I guess it was longer than that, because I came up with this in 2016. So I guess about 4 years ago. But anyways, I came up with a tax diversification pie chart to kind of look at where are you in your taxes and where are your tax diversification, everything, as you go through the next 30 years. And I've actually created a 30-year tax plan that I talk to my clients about. We usually revisit that at the beginning of each year and typically throughout each year. And see, these are the things that each month with Group 51, these are things not next month I'm talking to clients about all new stuff, completely different things. This is just what I'm talking to my clients about this month. This is what I'm sharing in Group 51 with the details and links and things to that effect, a PowerPoint, and then Q&A. So it's a 2-hour seminar and 1 hour of Q&A. And you get first opportunity. I've got a few things to go through. I'm going to tell you some other things that I'm talking to my clients about this month that are then in this Group 51. But I have stopped doing Zoom meetings with the public, so to speak. But if you're in Group 51, I'll give you opportunity to have a Zoom meeting with me. Yes, there's an additional fee to that because it's additional time. It's just like in my CPA practice. If I'm working with a client, here's the fee. If they need me to do something else, here's the fee for that in addition to that. And then the other is I do phone calls that is open to the public, but both Group 51 will have opportunity to schedule with me with Zooms, and then they'll also have first opportunity to schedule one-on-one phone calls with me. Yep, for additional fee. It's additional time. So with that, I'm also going to be talking about these tax credits. I'm not going to go into huge length on this because I'll be having separate seminars that you'll be able to come to talking about the tax credits. But I'm going to make them aware in the group the same way that I'm making clients aware. See, my clients, I don't show them how to calculate every little tiny thing, right? That'd be a seminar unto itself. Now, I may charge a completely separate fee, $1,500 to $2,500 to go through that with a client. But in the seminar, I'm going to talk through and say, okay, here's the latest, here's the form, here's where you file it, here's the calculation. So they're going to have enough to be able to take it and run with it with the most recent information related to that. There's now everybody that's going to file a tax return. Everyone in the United States of America. Everyone. Every single one. Everyone. When I say everyone, I mean everyone. You look on Form 1040, there's a new line item, 2020 only, never existed before. I don't see that it'll ever exist again, but you can deduct up to $300 per person, up to $600 per couple of your charitable contribution. So I'm going to talk about that, but then really what qualifies for that. And then I'm going to talk about line 13. So right now you go look at your Form 1040 if you own a business, and you look at line 13 on 2020 when that tax return's done. And if you own a business, you should see a number on there, and it's a deduction out of thin air. It's out of thin air. Literally, whatever your net income is times 20%, it is an extra deduction out of thin air. Okay? So I'm going to get my Group 51 on alert about this. Because if your net income's $100,000 from your business, Schedule C, Schedule F, S Corp partnership, okay? It's a $20,000 tax deduction. $20,000 tax deduction. I'm not selling anything. This is a ridiculous deduction that is still in play. Long story short, it's making sure that group is aware of it, what to make sure that what information they need to get to their preparer to go through that, where to look for it. Also, this is the time that everybody needs to kind of revisit how much withholdings they have. The IRS has an awesome link that you can go to. It's really accurate, and how to put that information in so that you can do kind of a checkup to make sure that you're withholding enough. I'm going to talk about the new Form W-4 that needs to go out to all the employees. A lot of them may have been already giving it last month, but there's been lots going on. Going to talk about the advantages of making sure that you always are protecting your business. Now, I'm not going to give legal advice, but But what I'm talking about with my clients right now and in January is we're looking at, well, what business did you start up? Were there any expansions to your business? Were there any purchases that you had made? In essence, like real estate, right? And you want to hold these things in multiple LLCs, but I'm going to walk through with this group. Well, how do you do that though, but not create more compliance burden, meaning filing more tax returns, right? So there's some new ways that the IRS is paying attention to how we're stacking up entities. And the thing about that is then to know, how do you properly report all of this so that even though the IRS is getting keen to kind of how entities are stacked up and an entity owns an entity, how to ensure that you're getting that all reported the way that's supposed to, so that if you do get an inquiry, somehow you didn't get some wires mixed. So I'm going to talk about the brand new aspects of that. Then with clients, with my clients right now, is, you know what, it's time to raise fees, right? These are doctors and lawyers and veterinarians and counselors and people selling product and selling services. So I'm talking about raising fees, things to think through related to that. This is for my clients. I'm also talking with my clients about, this is time to fire customers, how to go about that, the mental aspect. Also with my clients, I'm talking about, were there new services that you added or the things that you're doing? So do you need to break some of those things out? So I'm going to walk through some of that. Going to talk about why you should just go ahead and get an EIDL if you don't already have one. Going to talk about line of credit and how much should you have available? How much would you want to ensure that you have in your bank account out of your line of credit? And then just talking about line of credits in general, refinance. I'll be talking about PPP too, but the seminar that I'm doing here is to mirror what I'm talking to my clients about with PPP 2, okay? So I'm not doing anything with my clients on the horn with them saying, so payroll cost is this, blah, 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 blah. My clients, I'm doing it for them, but I'm giving them enough information to let them know what we need, what our deadlines are, what they need to tell the bank. So that's what's mirroring in this. And then really there's going to be some unique opportunities still coming out of this related to real estate or various industries. I've got an opinion on Zoom and kind of what I think the future of Zoom is going to be. So this is definitely not about giving stock tips and things to that effect. But nonetheless, these are things that I'm talking to my clients about. See, that's what this whole seminar is about. It's what I'm not talking about on YouTube. Why? Because it's what I'm talking to my clients about. Well, why wouldn't you do videos about that, JJ? Well, as a certified public accountant, I want to make sure that my information is being provided with documentation, very direct communication, follow up if there's some questions related to it. If I put stuff on YouTube as a CPA and it's just out there for the entire world, as a CPA, I don't feel as 100% comfortable with that kind of information that can get misunderstood, misconstrued. Then I'm going to talk about REITs, real estate investment trusts. I'm counseling a couple of my clients that as they're moving out of industry or moving towards retirement, 10 years to retirement, those that are in real estate, those that are looking for opportunities related to the real estate industry, think there's going to be huge advantage to getting into the real estate industry. But how? I don't know that I'm a big fan of directly owning real estate. For those of you that are not going to be in the real estate industry, as in you're not an expert in it, you're not going to be able to either afford to buy up property, or would it make sense for you to go buy one residential rental and then have to get called on Christmas Day So on the REITs, this is how you're getting into real estate nationwide with huge groups, with huge real estate. It's as an investment. This is a thing. In the seminar, I'm going to talk about REITs and how they have to pay out, and it's phenomenal. You can do 1031s with REITs. So with this group, I've given you a rundown of what I'm already talking to my clients about. And in this seminar, I've given you a few minutes, and all I've did is give you the outline. What was the benefit of that? Well, these are things that you could go and talk to your professionals about, just to say, hey, JJ's talking to his clients about this. What do you know about it? What should I be doing about it? But the key is that in the PDF of the PowerPoint, so I'll go through the Group 51 seminar, I'll be using a PowerPoint, and the 50 members will get a copy of the PDF, and we'll be going through so they can take notes and things to that effect. But the key is that in the PowerPoint, I'm giving details, some checklist items, and also giving links to some of this information, where it came from, so that with those that are in this, they can either refer to it to then get their professional involved with it. So at the end of the day, this is closed. Hopefully I said that at the beginning. It's closed. It's a one-time shot. I'm putting together the video to tell you about the group. Absolutely. I'm also putting together the video because I'm just letting you know what I'm talking about with my clients this month. And I thought that you could get some help out of that as well. So in the body of this video is a link, and it's where you can go to sign up. And depending on when you're listening to this, there'll be, who knows how many spots are left. I'm sure that will fill up. I originally made it available just to those that had signed up. I've done a few posts about it, but I've just done posts really saying, hey, here it is, here's what it includes. And I thought, well, you know what, I'll do a video. So anyways, the group will close no matter what. If I don't get 50 people, I don't get 50 people. I think there's not that many spots left. I'm sure I will. But nonetheless, on noon Central Standard Time on Wednesday the 20th, the group will close no matter what the number is. And so anyways, I'm excited about it. And I think this will be a group to be able to have some interaction with. And if you made it to here, if you're in Group 51 and you're passing through Oklahoma City, well, Group 51, come have lunch with me. I'll treat you. Head out to Glardy Country Club and we'll grab some lunch, get to know each other, no charge, and I'm buying. So at the end of the day, thought this would be something neat to put together, limited it because of the Q&A, and it's a way to share with others how I advise my clients. So, what's the catch? Actually, very little. Because I don't want to market this every month, you're basically just paying for the year. Now, I told you that these seminars I was doing is $97 each, so I've got 12 seminars, and they're $97 each. Well, if you're prepaying $97, well, it comes out to $97 times 12. Well, I just rounded it down. I don't like the word discount. I rounded it down to $997. So $997. You get 12 seminars, 2 hours each, 1 hour of Q&A in that. Your email is marked. When you email me, it's marked VIP, so that when I'm taking time to answer questions of the public, I'm going to answer the questions of Group 51 first. And then no one really gets to do Zoom meetings with me anymore. Group 51 will have the opportunity to do Zoom meetings, additional fee. And first opportunity to see my schedule for the following month, to be able to schedule calls with me, additional fee, additional time. And so then they're getting basically first access. And I kind of like that. I'll get to know these individuals, maybe get to know you. And then having the recurring Zoom meeting, and then an opportunity to email maybe before the seminar, what are some questions you'd like to ask, so that I can touch on it during the Q&A at the end of the seminar, and then some impromptu. There's some things that I could probably tell you, and you'd be like, well, I'd join it for that alone. But you know what? I don't really want to over entice or over promise or create a bunch of stuff, but I think those that are going to be in this group, maybe, as we get into the summer, we got to get past tax season and past PPP2. I plan to put together some pretty mind-blowing things. Well, that sounds like a sale. I'm a CPA, okay? And I like people, and I like people to like me, and I like people to be impressed with me in the sense of, just look at my childhood, right? We all got something in our childhood that creates circumstances and motivations for us in our adulthood. But nonetheless, I want to blow the roof off of the availability for our Group 51. And so they'll know what it is. And just something neat, no extra cost, something, I think, a couple of different ways to interact with this group that I think will blow them away, that they're not going to have to pay any additional fee to me or some other group, which is all to say this. They bet on me. They said, you know what, JJ, I want to be a part of this. I'd like to commit to you for the rest of the year, in the sense of I'm going to pay up front for the rest of the year. Well, for that commitment, and for the first year that I'm doing this, I'm going to go way overboard on what I hope to deliver. And then there's not going to be any of the groups. Now, I may have a 6-week group or a 5-week group that'll be for a specific type of industry. I'm going to have one just for self-employed. I'm going to have just one for real estate people. But, it'll be like a 4-week seminar series. It'll be very direct. This is a membership group. So if you've made it to here and you're interested, hopefully you already checked down in the body, because if there's not a link there, okay, then it's already full, and at least you got all the information. And then I plan to have Group 51 next year, and who knows? We'll see where we are in 2022. It'll be interesting to see where we are at that point. But at the end of the day, I'm not bringing on any new clients. I bring on one a year. I think I've already had the one that made the case to me on the first day of the year, but nonetheless, I only bring on one client a year. And I thought, you know what? This is a way that I could bring on one client, but it's a group of 50 people. So I'm not doing tax work. I'm not doing deadline work. I'm doing as needed on phone consults and Zooms on what this group may need, and then providing on a monthly basis, hey, here's the things I'm talking to my clients about. Here's the things to be thinking about. Here's the things to talk to your advisors about. So my clients all have their advisors. I'm one of them. So part of bringing ideas to the table with my clients is then they know what to talk to their other advisors about, whether it's their attorney, their insurance professional, if they're not working with me, their investment advisor, their banker, so on and so forth. And then this helps with my clients that we have kind of an open dialogue of what's going on. So with that being said, if this group is already full, thanks for watching till here. Maybe you picked up a few ideas, whether you're a CPA or an EA or a tax professional, of some of the things I'm doing with my clients, or if you're looking to enhance your relationship and interaction with your professionals. I do have a couple of books that you can check out. One of them is JJ the CPA here, and I'm not going to give anything away to the group because I haven't sent them out yet, but nonetheless, if you missed out entirely, well, here's something that you could get a little kernel of value. It's on Amazon, and it's the top 60 questions. Oh, look, there it is right there too. Top 60 questions of my clients over the last 27 years, and only a few of them have to deal with tax, maybe 20% of them. And then this is a book also on Amazon.com called Cracking the CPA Code. And that is how to get referrals from CPAs. How do you do business with a CPA? Not how do you hire a CPA to do your taxes. It's how do you get referrals from a CPA? Because those of you that have tried, or those of you that have succeeded, which is far and few between, you know how difficult and what a feat that is. And so I go inside the mind of the CPA, starting with mine, and break it down the CPA. All right, hey, you know what? There's probably just a few that made it to here. You're going to probably say, hey, JJ, why are your comments off? Well, the comments are off because there's so much going on with PPP2 and the ERTC and these other tax credits, and there's no way, unfortunately, that I'm able to get to these comments, which then have the questions. I'm not really able to get to these emails. Group 51 will help. They'll rise to the top of replying to emails. So I feel like if I leave comments open, then it's unfair for someone to think, well, if I leave this comment, maybe I'll get an answer to it, when I don't have the opportunity to leave answers to it. And even if I allowed comments on this, in essence, there would still be questions that would show up. You know what I'm going to do instead? I will be going live to be answering questions in that manner, but in a controlled way, in the sense of during that time. What I don't want is people to ask questions and then not get an answer, or be waiting on an answer that I don't, unfortunately, have time to do. So that's why the comments are off. And I know for those that have been watching for a long time, that's extremely unusual. So once we get maybe another week or two down the road, then I'll be able to have comments on where I'll be able to answer questions. But there's too much going on. And with my clients, I've got directly with them to be taking care of them. We got tax season underway. I've got Group 51. I've got so many things going on. It's not that I don't have time for you, because I don't think that at all. I'll be making time by going live and answering questions that way. But I don't want people to just throw questions. And then I'll just be honest with you. There's people that are asking questions and I don't even think they saw the answer. I used to spend hours and hours and no one really even said, thanks or, well, that helped or it didn't help. I mean, some people did, but it's like I took the time to answer a question. I don't even know if they got it because I don't know if people even know how to go back and check or do they check. So I would spend time answering questions. I don't even know if anybody got the answer. So once we move forward here and I go live, then we'll be in good shape there. So, all right. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Love it if you'd subscribe. And then don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me. Hope to see you in group 51.